Biggest thing is to understand it's really about people, you know, and I think a lot of times we get really excited about the tech, but in the end it's really about the people and how are people using the tech. I mean, you're gonna always have early adopters like with Google Glass or wearable computing and whatnot, you know, with quantified self, bracelets and stuff and watches. But in the end, you have to understand what people are doing and the behaviors, and that's how I stay ahead of things, is watch that, but also understand what's happening in tech as well.
So you said you have to understand what people are doing and how they behave. How do you do that?
Well, one is observing them, just watching people and seeing how they use tech, and not just the mainstream, but watching like, you know, kids and then watching older people and seeing what people write about or how they observe other people using tech. So it's just really about observation. And then we have workshops where we actually do like design thinking, and this is kind of a buzzword. I don't really like talking about that much. But I mean, my background is design, so I think like a designer anyway. So that, and then just, you know, reading websites and stuff like that as well.
So when it comes to going mobile first, what are the biggest pitfalls?
I don't think there are any pitfalls. I think the biggest challenges are most people are so stuck in yesterday's world and legacy systems and processes that it's hard to understand what does that mean. Because when you start mobile first, that means you're starting with a different mindset. And for a lot of people, that's just difficult. So I think the harder part is how do you unlearn something and relearn something.
And how do you do that?
Well, there's this idea in physics called first principles, or another way to express that is called beginner's mind. It's like a Buddhist thing. And just understanding that all things being equal, you have to start with just the basic truths, whether it's human truth or technological truth, and start from there, and not start from, okay, yesterday we did it this way, so we're going to do it this way a little bit better today. And the first, I guess, major example of that would be like going to the moon. You know, when we first went to the moon in the 60s, there was nothing we could rely on. So we called that a moonshot, and we have that something at Google as well, this idea of a moonshot. And you can't really rely on anything from yesterday because no one had gone to the moon before. So
talking about successful mobile first companies, what are the brightest shining stars, and what can other companies learn from them?
I think it's important to be first, but I don't think it's necessary. If you look at Google, for example, we weren't the first search engine. We just had the best algorithm and the best business model. Look at Apple, they were not the first mobile, but they had the best phone and, you know, in the end, the best convergence device. And look at China right now. China is definitely not the first on much of anything mobile, but they're doing amazing stuff like Xiaomi, the company Xiaomi and Tencent, Alibaba. And there, just the people skipped desktop for the most part and they went straight to mobile. And that's what I mean also by behaviors, watching how people interact and do things versus how they did things yesterday.
So what do you think of mobile-only companies? Is that even possible, and for what kind of industries is that suitable?
Mobile-only companies, it depends. I mean, you're going to always have to have something in the back end, right? The cloud and stuff. So mobile-only companies, I don't think there is any really true mobile-only companies. Maybe it's like an app, but even then you need some back end. But if you're thinking of like Uber, you know, they're pretty much mobile. You know, they have a desktop, but the main thing is a mobile, or Airbnb and all the new companies, you know. And then they're just built differently. That they also start with this idea of, okay, let's just forget about what happened in the past. We know this is what we can do, and we're going to do it that way. And I think it's hard for older companies to do that because there's so much invested in the past.
Okay. If you look back at this past year, 2015, what has surprised you the most in this field?
We talked about this earlier. I think just the saturation of people using mobile phones as like citizen journalism. VR is taken off. That was kind of foreseen. I mean, at Google we had Google Cardboard, and that was a 20% project, but that's really taken off. So I think when we look at things have so much potential, and that's why companies and people that just kind of wait for stuff to happen, they're going to get left behind. You have to try to go out there and explore stuff as well. So I guess the most surprising thing is just the rate of change that's happening.
All right. And for the coming year, 2016, what are you envisioning as the big deal in mobile?
Okay. So what I find, the challenge with mobile right now is the screen. So the screen is binary. So if I have a phone, I'm either looking at you or I'm looking at the screen. I can't do both. So I think what I find interesting is this idea of pervasive computing or ubiquitous computing. And that means when there's like sensors and processors everywhere, and they detect your movement and stuff, and you can the interface is through gestures. So you just talk or spoken word, like the Amazon Echo or OK Google and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be starting to pick up as well as not just wearable computing like watches, but also like embedded into clothes.